Hi friends, Kesenya here with our talk about the forthcoming full moon in Libra this time. For those of you who are watching my videos, which are always launched every 2 weeks, thank you so much for joining me again. For those who watch for the first time, hi, my name is Kesenya and I'm a tarot reader at Kesenya's Moore's Guiding Star website and YouTube channel. If you like what I'm doing, if you would like to book a reading with me, I'll leave the link in the description box. And yeah, welcome to the world of tarot and the talks about how moon affects our life. So we are about to celebrate the moon in Libra this time, the full moon in Libra, happening on the March 28, 29, as always 29, for the part of the world which is ahead, so like for Australia and New Zealand and probably parts of India and so on. So the moon is happening at 7:48 GMT, Universal Time, London Time, Greenwich Time. So I'll have the picture here for you to follow, and let's have a look what's happening in the sky during this moon. And actually lots of things are happening, as you can see, lots of things to be excited about, I suppose. So the moon is at 8 degrees Libra, understandably. The full moon happens when the moon is opposing the sun, hence it is in the spotlight. So the sun is at 8 degrees Aries. The sun is at 8 degrees Aries, conjunct Venus and Chiron. Isn't that amazing? And as if this is not enough, there is also the so-called great trine, the trine between the air signs. So there is Saturn in Aquarius, Mars at 14 degree Gemini, and Moon in Libra, and they're all roughly trining each other. So there is lots of air energy. There is lots of supportive energy from the Venus and Chiron. And that's what I invite you to talk about today shortly, before we start the sign-by-sign reading. So to begin with, we have now entered the Aries season, yeah? The Aries season, which happens 20th, 21st of March, which is obviously the, what you call it, the spring equinox? Yeah? I think so, yeah? The spring and autumn equinox, respectively, for southern and northern hemisphere. Sorry, I'm thinking because I try to remember which one is solstice and which one is equinox. Maybe it's solstice. I'm not sure because now it kind of escaped me. But you know what I'm talking about. At the end, we are at the threshold. We are in the liminal time when seasons are changing, when the times are fluid, when the borders between the worlds are somehow blurred, you know. That's why in all ancient cultures, all those big astronomical events, the main 4 astronomical points, which is the 21st of December, of March, of October, and of August, I think, yeah, or September, yeah, that they mark the respective beginning. June as well, June, of course, yeah. So the first month, the 21st of the first month of each season marks the beginning of the season and marks the change between the 2 halves of the year. So the kind of darker half for currently for southern hemisphere, and the lighter part of the year for northern hemisphere, because we are hitting spring now officially astronomically. So the whole event of the full moon in Libra as such, yeah, because it is always related to the entering of the sun into the zodiac of Aries and the beginning of the new zodiacal cycle, yeah, because we start zodiac with Aries, and the new beginning of the new season, and this change of the cycles of season, yet again the wheel is turning, right? So we are in the spring again, so it is this renewal of nature and so on. So lots of new beginnings, so to speak. And Libra, I think, is a good sign. How to say, Libra is a good sign to actually mark those new beginnings, because full moons are always about release, And Libra, it's all about balancing. So release and balance yourself. In a way, even empty yourself. You know, because you know, in many cultures there is this trial in the other world. For example, in Egyptian culture, it's called the weighing of the heart. You know, when the Egyptian goddess of truth, Maat, she presides over the court of Osiris, and Osiris, he's the lord of the underworld. You know, he's the god of death and rebirth, the first god who was killed by his brother, and then he was reborn. He reappeared, he has conquered death, and hence he is the main judge of the other world. There is this ritual of the weighing of the heart, and you know that in one bowl the heart of a person is put, and in the other bowl the ostrich feather, which is the attribute of Ma'at, is put, and then the heart is supposed to be lighter than feather. You know, so there is this motif in a way of emptiness, because your heart can be lighter than a bird's feather only when you have released all the weight which wasn't on your heart, when you have released all the grudges, all the relationships which don't serve you enough, all the things of the past which are weighing you down, so to speak, right? So full moon in Libra, before we will celebrate the new moon in Aries, which in my opinion, because I think that I don't want to say all of us, but I'd say enough of us function more on the lunation level than on the solar level. For example, like, how to speak, I never really even remember that the sun is entering the zodiac sign, the new zodiac sign, on the 20th of each month. But I always remember when it is the new moon in this sign, you know, kind of, I don't know. Maybe that's wrong, to be honest. Maybe you think totally different, you know, you can tell me about that. But before we celebrate the new moon in Aries, which is the first new moon of the new zodiacal cycle, which is the birthday of the zodiac, you know, which is the totally new journey. You know, tarot has this cyclical nature as well, because, you know, major arcana in tarot, there is this card Fool, which is both 22 and 0, you know, so the cycle becomes full and starts again from the beginning. Before, we need to kind of allow ourselves to feel all this joy and bliss of joining this celebration of the change of the season, you know. We need to really do some release and rebalancing, and that's why I think it is, nothing is, how to say, nothing is kind of by chance in the zodiac, you know. When you think of it, things are so magically paired together that you really think that there is this mind behind the creation of the universe, behind the creation of concepts we are working with, that there is like some bigger plan in the creation. And because it is really important that before, like, you know, Aries is very often deemed to be like infantile, childish, very active. Aries is a bit like a toddler, sometimes too much, sometimes too curious, sometimes too aggressive, sometimes too pushy. And before we get into this mode, it's important to get rid of the old luggage, because whenever we're changing cycles, it is also a symbolic death and rebirth. And before you can step in the next life, before you can step in the kind of the renewal of yourself, you need to leave your past shadow in the past. So it was not the most beautifully created phrase, but I hope you understood what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that we are currently facing this myth of death and rebirth ourselves. And to use the Egyptian mythology as a sort of template, it is what needs to be done before we step into the new life, into the eternal life, when we speak mythologically. But for us, only in the next season, only in the beginning of the new astrological year. Before we do this, we need to cleanse our hearts. So when it is weight on the scales of the gods, they would find it pure, and we would be allowed our ticket to eternity, you know. And there's a lot of beautiful things associated with Libra, you know, because again, And yeah, and why we were having this here, the chart, is because I think it is important to really be grateful for the supportive factors we are having. So I encourage all of you just to look back what was happening last March, and you remember all what was happening. The lockdown was introduced on March in most countries. I think in the 11th of March, the World Health Organization has declared the virus to be a pandemic. So that the scale was really big. The scale was global, you know. So last March was extremely challenging for all of us. It was life-changing, totally. There is no way we can neglect that fact. So now a year has passed. We can look back at our journey in the other world, because this lockdown was absolutely the journey in the underworld for most of us. It was like lots of shadow work, because we were locked in our rooms for most of the part, and we had lots of time to think about, like, you know, death and the fragility of our bodies, and of where we want to see ourselves, what we want for our families, for our children, for our friends, like, you know. All those eternal questions, they suddenly reappeared because the noise and the chaos of the everyday life was taken from us. And now we've been through it for 1 year, and it is time to look back, and it is time to pat yourself on the shoulder and to tell, oh, I've done well. I've done well. Seriously, we all did well. And to take the wisdom that you probably cultivated in yourself over this year with you into the future, and to leave all your grudges behind. And it is quite an important task, because after this year, from March 2020 to March 2021, it's not like a usual new year that we would celebrate, or the new cycle when we would think of what we have achieved, like, you know, how we have advanced. Not many people have achieved anything during this year in lockdown, you know, like, right? So something different should be picked up, but probably something even deeper, something more truthful to who you are, how you changed. Not how many countries you visited, not how many books you read, not how many new friends you achieved, not how promoted you were a job, but something inside. I don't know, something inside that shifted. And during this full moon, which is a scan, as I said, full moon is the phase before the moon starts waning. So it's a good way to release, to forget about things, to let things go. During this new moon, the sun, which the sun is ego, you know, in astrology, is conjunct Venus and Chiron. Chiron, you know, we keep talking about Chiron. Chiron, it is this Taurus who was the teacher and the mentor of Hercules. He was the most wise of all the Tauruses, who are usually quite vile and violent and, like, you know, lustful. He was like a saint, you know, he was wise, he was a doctor, he was a medic, you know. He was absolutely very altruistic in all possible senses, you know. And so he's a wounded healer. He's a healer who knows how to heal because he was wounded himself. And Venus, yes, Venus is all things beautiful and all things, like, in a way, probably even arrogant, you know. But in tarot, for example, Venus, the card of Venus, while I'm talking, I'll try to find this card for you. In tarot, the card of Venus is Empress. And Empress is, as Venus, is very different in tarot to what Venus is in astrology. Because in astrology, Venus can be, like, you know, Venus, of course, means love, right? But Venus also means beauty and pampering yourself and being a bit selfish and, like, you know, and food. Yeah. And food and money, of course, money, that's Venus as well. So in tarot, those features of the archetype of Venus are gone. In Tarot, the card of the Venus is the Empress. And the Empress, she's the Divine Mother. She is like, you know, the kind of mother goddess, if you wish. Yeah, she's this primordial femininity, you know. She's this, she is this loving, caring, ever-giving, abundant, divine love. That's what it is. So Godfather, he's law, and the Goddess Mother, she's love, so to speak, in the dichotomy of the world. You see here, she's extremely beautiful. I'm using today the Shadowscapes Tarot, which I love. It doesn't want to focus, but I hope you can guess. Yeah, she has like all the butterflies here. She's this wonderful lady with, like, you know, her floral dress and the roses are blooming. She's fertility, she's love, she's like the mother who would always protect the child. And for this full moon, I really want to take Venus as that. So there is Chiron, who is the doctor, who's the healer, who is the kind of medic, you know. And there is Venus, who's like a caring mother. And that's exactly what we need. This kind of thing that we are all sick of the situation in which we are in this, how to say, we don't really understand where we are going anymore. We might feel lost, like, you know, we might sometimes... This year has proven again, by the way, that there are no adults. In fact, kids want to grow up to become an adult, and then you grow up and you understand that the trick of this life is that there are no adults. We are just like, you know, some of us are really tiny kids, and some of us are kind of grown-up kids. And I think the frustration everyone is feeling is very much showing that, right? And we all sometimes want to be like this kid, you know, who just, I don't know, doesn't feel well and wants to stay home and to be taken care of. And mom says, okay, you don't go to school, like, you know. And the doctor comes, who is the Chiron, and he gives you medicine, a nice medicine, which helps you and your fever goes away. And then mom comes and she brings you your favorite toys and she reads you a book and she hugs you and she tucks the blanket, you know. And she brings you some chocolate from the shop to support you. That's how I see this full moon, with the sun, which is sun, this burning ego, you know, the deflated ego, with the support of Venus and Chiron, who are like, you know, a good, kind doctor and the good, kind mother, who are just there to give you all the love and all the care and all the nutrition you need in order to cure, in order to heal, in order to look back and just get rid of everything that you don't need. And this creates this very comfortable nest in which we can truly do the cleansing. And to do the cleansing, we are helped with this trine between the air signs, yeah, the trine of Mars, Saturn, and Moon. Because Moon is our emotions. Mars is super active. Saturn is karmic and very strict. And so, because the trine is happening in the air signs, it is like this bag of winds. If you remember, if you were reading Ulysses of Homer, you remember there is this episode when I don't know how he's called in English, you know, like the god of winds. I don't know how he's called, to be honest. You know, the adjective is something like Aeolian. So I don't know what's his name. Anyway, the god of winds, yeah, the god of winds whom Ulysses meets, and he receives a bag of winds from them, yeah. And you remember the whole horror of the story of Ulysses is that he almost reaches Ithaca, so his land, his promised land, his fatherland, you know, the land of which he's the king. Then the bag is suddenly opened and all those storms and winds, they're released, and the ship of Ulysses is pushed back into the open ocean. What a tragedy. But this intensity of this full moon with all the air energy, it reminds me of this Aeolian bag of winds, you know, that there's this massive whirlpool of winds which would come and which would just wipe away everything that we don't need. That it would be like all doors open, all windows open. And Mars is very energetic energy. Yeah, it would be like this gust of fresh wind, very strong. Sometimes when you, like, you know, walking in the wind and it's so strong, it's just coming at you and you get this excitement, you know. That's pretty much how it feels. So look back, release, don't be too harsh on you, feel cared, feel supported, and then let them, the gods, do the rest. Like, you know, let this gust of wind come into your life and just wipe away everything and all the old leaves, all the debris from the past, so that it's gone and you can prepare for the new cycle of rebirth, like the earth is preparing now to wake up, like, you know, or to go to sleep, depending on where you are in the world. So with this, I would like to do, we will be doing the reading, right? And sign by sign. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought and if you have any anticipation for this full moon. So let's go. Let's start with the reading. The first one is a small reading for Libra. Libra, you're in the spotlight. The full moon is happening in your first house. The cards that you got are super interesting, very symptomatic of everything we're talking about at the beginning. You got the Hermit, the Devil, and the Nine of Swords. All of those cards, they basically speak of liberation. I would do the false etymology, you know, that Libra means a balance, but Libra in English just happens to be very similar to the word Libra, like liberation and everything related to the notions of freedom. So a big season of liberation, right? We were talking about it, that it's a need to release before you enter the new time of the year, before we start a new cycle with the new moon in Aries. So the Hermit, yeah, the Hermit is Virgo. The Hermit is Virgo, and symptomatically Virgo is your 12th house, and the 12th house is the house of the release. It's the last house. It's the house of karma, of the release of everything that you no longer need. Yeah, it's the house of forgiveness. It's the house of getting rid of all patterns, of things that you don't want to see in your life, like, you know, of things that you need to get rid of in order to keep going. Yeah, and here is the Hermit card, the Virgo card. The Hermit also speaks of seclusion, yeah? So when we need to release, we actually need to spend some time on our own, yeah? We need to clear up our space. That's when the air energy of Libra comes in handy, to clear up the space, to allow, like, you know, the wind, the changing wind to come and change ourselves. Like, you know, winds are changing. I will gonna call this reading, this video, the winds of change, right? Because it's the air energy we're talking about. And Hermit invites seclusion. Hermit invites the quiet spaces in which we can be ourselves, in which we can be in silence in order to hear what God has to tell us about. And the Hermit in this case serves as a means of liberation from the Devil card. The Devil card is Devil is Capricorn, yeah? Devil is Capricorn, and Devil is also everything in tarot, like, you know, like you can see here that this figure of the Devil, he has a heart here, yeah, and there is a person kind of trapped in the dungeon. Devil card speaks of addictions, of feeling trapped, of feeling that your hands and feet are tied, that you cannot progress, you cannot move. And this is the kind of stage of this deep bottom from which the only way out is to liberate yourself, you know. So it is being in being in silence alone as the hermit, and looking back and acknowledging things that are holding you back, things that you're addicted to, unhealthy habits, unhealthy relationships, unhealthy thoughts that you're putting in your head. And then we get the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is the tragic card. It is like, you know, usually there is a figure kind of like crying in bed with Nine of Swords hanging on the wall. Nine of Swords, those are all wounds. That's a very high number in the suit of tarot. 9 means already completion, yeah, because it's the last number of the natural sequence. Then 10, it's 1 and 0 again. So 9 is the last number, which has its own value. So it is the completion of the cycle. It's the master number. And swords, it's a suit of air and mind. Air, yeah, Libra, your air, you know how to work with it. So it is basically a completion of the cycle of thinking about something, of the way of thinking, of your attitudes, of the paradigms. And this is the ultimate liberation, you know. I like this card because here this figure of the wounded warrior, he looks at this flock of birds which are flying through the whirlpool of the clouds to the light, through the tunnel created by the clouds, to the light and the deep kind of high in the sky, you know. So that's a very beautiful message, and I think that what cards advise for you is to use the air energy and the support the moon is giving you as the good how to say, basis for you to release, to let go, to, like, you know, basically you got 2 major arcana out of 3, the devil and the hermit, you know. And actually it's very interesting because the hermit, the monk, yeah, the religious person, he is the agent of God, and devil is the agent of devil, right? So it is like this battle, you know, like how Dostoevsky said once that what interests me most is the battle between God and devil, and the battlefield for this battle is the human soul, you know. So it is like the very epic battle between the kind of like diabolic principles, what we understand by those, so like more like negative thoughts and tiredness and all this darkness, and between the power of light, which always wins at the end. And the Nine of Swords that you got, Libra, is very descriptive of those, yeah, because through the darkness of those clouds, the warrior, he sees the light and the birds swirling and flying up in the sky towards the light, you know. So I hope this is something for you to work through. Lots of signs of release. Next one is Scorpio, and for you, Scorpio, full moon is happening in your 12th house, yeah, 12th house of release. So I guess for you, oh, beautiful, wow. Very similar message to the Libra, and same kind of layout of cards, 2 major arcana and then the minor arcana of very high degree. So you got the Magician and the High Priestess and 10 of Cups. So the full moon basically happens before the full moon in Scorpio, yeah. So it is this wonderful opportunity to get rid of something in your 12th house before you can fully, first of all, with all of us, enter the Aries season and celebrate the beginning of the new astrological year. And on top of that, before moon will move into your sign, and moon is a watery planet and Scorpio is a watery sign, so your emotions will be heightened when we will be talking about the full moon in Scorpio in a month or so. So for you now, it is really time of magic. 12th house is the very occult house. It is the most divine house because it's the end of the path, and at the end of the path the human is closest to God, you know, the human is closest to truth. And so that's what the magician is speaking about. The magician is a very mature card, you know, because the magician, why he's the magician is that because he mastered different elements. The magician, he knows how to work with the outer world. He knows how to work with what's inside, because as within, so without. He knows how to, like, you know, how to use the different knowledge that he has acquired, different elements of his own life, of the nature around him. And this wonderful magician, it is card number 1. Yeah, so it's the next card after Fool. Fool is card number 0. So it is about finding your path. It is about like, you know, as I used to say, the Fool is the potential. Fool is air. Fool doesn't have shape. Magician is the potential manifested in reality, you know. So I think it's going to be a very magical time for you. I think that you would feel definitely a kind of splurge of energy. You would feel energized. You will feel deep because your 12th house is activated. It's a very deep house. And so you got the couple number 1 and number 2. You got the magician and the high priestess. Well, the counterpart of the high priestess in tarot is the high priest. He's kind of her divine husband. But nonetheless, they're probably colleagues. They're working together, you know. You got 2 most magical cards. The magician, who is like the active male magic, male type of magic, which is related to creating with a magical wand, so to speak. And the high priestess, which is this deep feminine knowledge, which is about intuitive gut feeling, you know, knowing not through the knowledge but through the subconscious, you know. So that's a very powerful couple to get. I encourage you to maybe give it a thought, like, you know, give it a thought. Think how you can bring during this full moon more magic into your life, how you can use your ability. Give yourself the green light to use your intuition more. Give yourself the green light of, like, you know, because if it is about reinventing yourself and looking for the old new ways to be in this world, that's probably, like, you know, the magician is here to have this certainty that everything is possible and you can do it. And then you get the 10 of Cups, and 10 of Cups is the emotional fulfillment. Cups is use of water, use the water sign. 10 is a very high degree in tarot, so you might feel very emotional during this moon, but nonetheless, it is a completion of a certain emotional cycle, and maybe something to ponder about. 10 of Cups, it's also the card of emotional harmony. So whether you are in partnership or you are single, with the supportive energy of Chiron and Venus conjunct the Sun, you can definitely try to bring more peace and harmony into your relationship, into your love life, into your love towards yourself. You see what I mean? And feel kind of magic in the air and think of where you would like to go next, how you can use your magical abilities more, because we all have magical abilities. Pay more attention to whatever, I don't know, signs you're getting. Like, this is all very high priestess, so all the prophetic dreams, synchronicities, all the things that make sense to you personally, and from those you can build up the narrative for yourself, you know, so that you would know where you can go as the magician. So they work together, yeah. The high priestess, she's intuitive, and the magician, he's active. So that's very much it. So next one is Sagittarius. So Sag, for you, the Libra is your 11th house. Let's have a look what's in store for you. Just a reminder, for 11th house is the house of networks, the house of friends, and Cool. Yeah, everyone is getting lots of cards about the completion, right? So Sag, you got the World card. The World card, the last card in the major arcana. You got Three of Cups. How wonderful for the friend's house. And Two of Pentacles. So the moon is actually, as you know, opposite the sun. The sun is conjunct with the healer Chiron and with Venus, you know. And so to speak, your 10th house, your 11th house of friends is getting a nice boost for it. First of all, I'm doing the third sign now, and everyone got very powerful cards about the completion, like, you know, whether it be the minor arcana of the last degree, so 9s and 10s, or like you said, you got the World. The World is the completion. You see, even here there is the full moon, yeah? So the situation is actually really heightened. So as I was talking in the introduction, with the full moon in Libra, we are finishing the zodiac. And we are now in Aries season, and Aries season March, it is our celebration of the zodiacal new year, and that's the last full moon before the new moon in Aries, which would start the zodiacal cycle of the new moons again. And the World card is pretty much about the completion, so give yourself time. That's universal advice I voiced in the introduction, that we all need time now to release, to look back at the past March, to figure out what we have achieved and to give ourselves credit for it. The World card clearly calls for celebration. You celebrate what you have achieved. You celebrate that you have completed this cycle. And the World card, well, the World card also means kind of like the beginning of the new cycle physically, because the world means the physical world. So those could be anything. That can be the change of job, the change of houses, moving countries, yeah, traveling through the body of water, and traveling to faraway countries. I don't know how this is possible. In case you can travel somewhere, that would be nice. That would be really supportive, I suppose. But even if not, well, there is this world and there is the invisible world. We can always travel in the world of our fantasies. I think that for you, this moon also going to be very creative, because the World card is a creative card. It is about the completion, and completion means also the birth. So maybe you would feel, I don't know, inspired to give birth to your own worlds. Maybe you would feel creative. Maybe you would create your own worlds. Maybe you'll write a book, I don't know, or something like, you know, something like this. So to conceive some new original ideas, but the release is needed. That's why the full moon is here, because the full moon is always the time of release, especially the last full moon of the zodiacal year definitely calls for some release. Then you got Three of Cups. Three of Cups, it's a reunion between friends. And in your house of friendships and networks, it's a beautiful card to get. If you can get together with your friends, please do so. You, Sag, are very social. You love to be in the company. You love to be part of the circle of friends. You like to be supported by people. You're like this spark flying away from the bonfire. And give yourself, if there is an opportunity to do so where you live, give yourself some time to reconnect with your friends, to let yourself celebrate, because that's at the end of the day, we can celebrate the end of the zodiacal cycle with proper celebration, like the full moon. If you have some girlfriends who would like to come up with you and have some girlish full moon night, that would be nice as well. If you're a man, yeah, meeting your friends and having just good times together. It's a very blissful card, very, very pure card of how friends come together and drink and they're happy and joyful. And then the last card is Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, it's the opposite. It's the first card, yeah, of the Pentacle suit. So Two of Pentacles is a very important reminder to balance your life, to bring more balance into your life. And Libra is obviously the symbol of balance. And even here, you see, he's kind of like, he's balancing two pentacles, you know, he's playing with them, this person. He's like, you know, jongling with them. And it is about a very deep balance. It is about life and work balance. It is about the balance of substances, balance of what you put into your body, balance of time management, everything that requires order, so, and planning and something. So to be honest, I would think that maybe together with release, you can use this full moon also as a good time for planning, like, you know, to write down what you'd like to achieve, how you're going to achieve this. The World card is actually very supportive of this as well. And actually reach out to friends if you have some plans. Your 11th house is activated, bringing balance to the 11th house matters, yeah, that, and sharing with friends and discussing with friends and feeling that you're not alone is very important. Reaching out is important. That's Libra is social, yeah, because Aries, it's me, the opposite sign Libra, it's the others. And when it happens to be in your 11th house of friends, that's about reaching out to the others in one way or another. The next one is Capricorn. Capricorn, for you, Libra is your 10th house, your 10th house of career. That's your Capricorn house, the 10th house in our collective, yeah, collective zodiacal cycle. When we start with Aries, Capricorn is our 10th house. So this is the energy you know how to work with. What are gonna be the cards? Let's have a look. Yeah, if you don't remember, I'm Capricorn as well, so more work. All work, no fun. You remember, like in this horrible movie, The Shining, yeah? Oh, wow. Capricorns, that's our time. We need to be active. I don't know, I'll apply for a new job or something. We got the Star. Star is Aquarius. We got Justice. Justice card, it's Libra card. Bingo. And the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles, that's us. Page of Pentacles is Capricorn. So I don't know what to comment on those cards. Lots of blessings. I'm interested how for many signs there are 2 major arcana cards now and 1 minor arcana for pretty much all the signs I've done, majority of signs I've done so far. And it makes me think, because you know, when we do tarot readings, we look how many major arcana and minor arcana come into the reading, and so far everyone is getting bigger percent of major arcana cards. So for me it only means that the moon is supercharged. Moon is supercharged, maybe because this great trine, you know, of Saturn, Mars and Moon is very supportive, and of course the fantastic conjunction of Venus and Chiron and Sun. The star is Aquarius. Yeah, Aquarius is your 2nd house, by the way, also house of money and self-value and financial gains, you know. So star is the best card in tarot, as I keep saying. Star is alignment. That's why it is the best. Star is alignment to your past. Star is alignment to your soul contract. Sign is the voice of God who appears to you, like to Moses in the burning bush, or who comes to you in the wind, you know. Star is the angel Gabriel who appeared to Mary with good news. Star is this divine intervention in your life when you see like I'm sorry, I maybe because the air is activated, so my mind got very quick, yeah. But and I'm just bombarded inside of my head with those associations. But if you ever read James Joyce Ulysses, you remember how the main character Stephen Dedalus, he hears the kids, the boys who are his students in the school, the young boys, playing some hockey in the street, and he hears them screaming. And when he hears the scream, he says to himself, that's the voice of God. You know, that that kind of, sometimes we get the kind of the transcendental reality, the other world. It is leaking into our world through the most unexpected details, like boys playing hockey, you know, and you suddenly see God, you know, or like you look at the butterfly and you remember of the eternal, you remember of the divine. That's what the star is, like, you know. Star gives hope, star gives alignment, stars brings you back into alignment with who you're supposed to be. Star gives you light of the guiding star in the most desperate times. And star reminds you that if you have faith, if you have hope, if you are brave, if you can surrender, there is nothing to be afraid of. And this is repeated in a way in this Justice card. Well, Justice is Libra, yeah, so, and we are talking about the full moon in Libra, so Capricorn, you got this card, congratulations. But Justice is the reminder about that justice would be served. That especially if you're going through troubles related to self-value, because of the Saturn, restricted Saturn in your second house. Yeah, Saturn, which restricts everything in your second house in Aquarius. If you have troubles with your self-value, with money, it is the reminder that justice would be served. So in fact, I think maybe this full moon is also kind of good time for you to actually think what you want in life, career-wise. Try to do maybe certain steps in that direction, but just stay faithful, you know, stay faithful, and remember that justice would be served, because here she is with her scales. I'm really sorry, guys. I don't know why the camera doesn't want to focus on cards today, but I hope that you would be able to at least see the cards, like, you know, more or less. But you see here she's holding the two cups of like the scales. And the last one is the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, okay, Pentacles is a suit of Earth, so it's Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, but Page of Pentacles, it is also, so it can be you, it can be Capricorn, but it is also the new beginning with money, because pages, they're new beginnings, they're useful energy, they're like, you know, young people, and Pentacles is a suit of money, so new financial beginnings. To be honest, in general, very good for your 10th house. Very good signs for your 10th house. Next one is Aquarius. Aquarius, Libra for you is your 9th house. 9th house is the house, you know, it's the house of Sag. So it's the house of philosophy, of higher learning, of, like, you know, philosophical systems, of your patterns, of the way how you're thinking. So very, in a way, very intellectual, very intellectual, very intelligent house, you know. Maybe that's what you need, Aquarius. Aquarius, you need to reinvent yourself with all the things you're getting. Like, you know, you get the great conjunction. It's now the age of Aquarius. You need to reinvent yourself. And the Libra, it's again, it's the air sign. It's the air sign, and it is so it is mind, it is intellect. So it is about words and communication and reshaping, reinventing yourself. If you didn't watch the introduction, I'm happy to tell you that there is a very supportive great trine during this full moon. It's a trine in between Mars in Gemini, Saturn in Aquarius, and Libra has the moon. Yeah, so the full moon is part of the great trine amongst the air signs. So look, it's a good time to think of what you want in this life, and especially since it is your 9th house, your 9th house of inventing yourself, of your philosophical system, of the quest for the Holy Grail. Oh, that's beautiful. You'll be grand. You got the star as well, same as Capricorn. And star is Aquarius, so you came into your own reading. You also got 2 of Cups and 10 of Swords. Completion. So you came into your own reading. Look, I was talking a lot about the star in Capricorn reading, so go check the Capricorn reading. Capricorn was just before yourself. The star, again, the star is alignment. The star is the voice of God. The star is the guiding star. What do we feel when we see the guiding star in the darkness of the night? We feel hope. We feel faith that something is watching over me, over us. We feel that we're not alone. We feel that we can find our way. So it is a very comforting feeling. It means also soulmate energy. It means also the divine energy, like, you know. So you're supported in whatever you're going through. And this full moon, it's very bright and it's light. It's just here again to show you the way. And for you, the work is this very alchemic work. 9th house, it's also the house of alchemy and of alchemical big doing, you know, creating gold out of lead or whatever they were using. So you need to recreate yourself from whatever you are, and you're getting very supportive energy for this through this great trine. You're getting lots of fresh air. You just don't be blind. Open the windows and see this light of the guiding star again, especially for you. Star means alignment always, but star is Aquarius, and when it came into your own reading, it is again aligning with yourself, aligning with who you are on a deeper level. 2 of Cups, it's, well, to be honest, that's the card of romance and love. It's kind of the card of harmony, of union between partners, you know. So in case, I don't know, you might get a chance to meet someone maybe, or to start a new relationship. But in case you're single, that's just a reminder, you know, that kind of your love life can be reset. It can start from the fresh, crisp, new beginning, you know. So and in general, I don't want to limit this card. Yes, this card means romantic life, or romantic love, but Cups is emotions and 2 is the beginning. So it might mean just the renewal of your emotional life, and this might include anything. The way how you feel in general, the emotions you allow yourselves to feel, how, like, you know, how you feel emotionally inside. Yeah, inside. That would be the case. But I think those are all parts of the same coin. When you allow the wind to come and clear up your mind, when you surrender, when you have faith in the best, then your emotional life gets renewed automatically, you know, because those kind of those like waters of life, you know. And then 10 of Swords. And 10 of Swords, you know, it's the scary card in which there is a corpse pierced with 10 swords in classical tarot. Here, 10 of Swords, there are, like, you know, 10 ravens bringing the body of this woman. Again, it's very dark. There is like red, bloody red kind of cloak which she's wearing, like, you know, probably stained in her blood and so on. So look, you've been through a lot. Probably this since the beginning of the year, with all this great conjunction and so on. Aquarius, you're now in the spotlight. Capricorns just were in the spotlight, so we know what I'm talking about. So it is very challenging sometimes, like, you know, to go through those times. But nonetheless, it's about to end. You are getting used to this new wave which you're riding. You are getting used to the shift of energy. It's been 4 months that we're working with it. And it is time for you now to really complete the cycle. So whatever tragedies might have happened in your life, whatever uncomfortable shifts with Saturn moving to Aquarius might have been, it is now ending. Saturn will stay for 3 more years or so in Aquarius, but nonetheless, you need to learn how to work with those energies. And so to speak, 9th house, by the way, in which full moon is happening for you, it's the house of learning, of high learning. So to be honest, that's just a recommendation to allow this high learning to help you, to support you, to ask basically also, what is the star? Star is a prayer, you know, because you believe that someone is helping you. You can pray so that you know better how to find way to work with Saturn, how to find way to understand what's happening in your life, so that you might have the renewal of your emotional life after all. Cool. So, and next one is Pisces. Pisces, for you, it's happening in the 8th house. Sorry. 8th house is the house of Scorpio, so it's the house of the occult, the house, the shamanic house, the deep house, the very dark house. I don't know if I was telling you or not, I somehow very much love Capricorn, or not Capricorn, Scorpio. Maybe I was a Scorpio in my past life or so. So Pisces, 8th house for you. Yeah, everyone is getting Major Arcana. That's unreal, to be honest. Yeah, very powerful moon, guys. So you got Three of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, and Wheel of Fortune. That's beautiful card in this deck. So the wheel is turning, Pisces. It is very, I don't know why, maybe because kind of symbolically you're involved in this moon. Yeah, the full moon in Libra, it's our last full moon of the zodiacal year before we start the new moon in Aries. You know, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, so it's kind of the new cycle starts anew. And so the whole semantics of this moon, the whole meaning, it is very, very 12th house, and you Pisces, you're kind of the 12th house of the zodiac. And then again, you just celebrated your birthday, and you are starting the new cycle of your personal life as well. If you're Pisces sun, yeah, if you're Pisces rising, that's nothing to do with your birthday, you know. But in general, I think that this moon is charged with the meaning which we would associate in astrology with the 12th house, and you are our collective 12th house, so you know very well what I'm talking about. Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles, it's the card which traditionally is described as building the cathedral. It is the card of the collective. It is the card of the family. So to be honest, it is very beautiful. It is the fact that 8th house, yeah, you can study all things occult. You not necessarily the alchemy or tarot or anything, but like the depths of your soul. So, but with the support of the others, with the support of different means, like, you know, to be honest, if you'd like to do, I don't know, some reading during this to order, I'm not promoting myself, by the way, but like, you know, if you want to ask someone to kind of give you an insight, an occult insight, this might be a good time, because Three of Pentacles, it represents the building of the cathedral, and how it's built is that people of different skills are brought together. So some person is an architect, so he knows how to draw the scheme of how the cathedral is supposed to be built. Another person is the mason, so he knows how to carve stones. The third person is an artist, so he knows how to do beautiful icons. He knows how to do stained glasses. The fourth person is a musician who would be playing organ, you know. The fifth person, and so on and so on. So it is about building something. Pentacles is very material. Building something, creating something new through inviting people of different specialities to help you to create the vision of your life as you want it. So it is the card of collaboration. It is a card of familial relationship, the card of giving birth to something new, because Three of Pentacles, it is also mother and father who give birth to a child. So it is an extremely creative art. In many decks, this card could be actually called something like creativity. And that's what Pisces naturally love doing. Pisces are artistic, you know, so it is a very, very artistic time to explore for you. And I guess the Neptune is there helping you for so many years already. Next card is Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords, it can be Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. So she represents the Queen of the Air energy. Queen of Swords is very sober. She's the Queen of Spades, you know, in the playing deck. She's the oldest queens. She's the most sober one. She's very clear-minded. So to be honest, as a reminder, in case you want to bring something in life, don't be scattered. Libra is very rational. Libra is an air sign. So have your mind very cleared of how you want to bring it, how you want to investigate yourself, how you want to investigate your opportunities in order to bring something in life. Queen of Swords, Libra, she is the queen of truth as well. So you do, every step of yours needs to be truthful to yourself, truthful to the others. Like, you know, it is about transparency, clarity, decency towards the others and yourself, because Queen of Swords, she would not tolerate any deceive, like false information, gossiping behind the back. No, she has a sword. She cuts through the veil so that she sees everything very clearly. So pray for this. And then the Wheel of Fortune, the card of Jupiter, you know. Here is our stained glass from the cathedral we have just built. Jupiter, the wheel is turning, you know. You have been at the bottom. Next time you can be on the top, you know. You keep rolling, and you're entering the new cycle, which is the new year and the new zodiacal cycle, with this feeling of movement. The things are moving for you. That's beautiful, you know. In case you don't feel this way, Wheel of Fortune rotates. Whether you see it or not, it rotates, it keeps motion, and you never know when you will start feeling this change. That's a life-changing card. That's a lucky card. So that's something to be happy about. Next one is Aries. Aries, for you, it's the 7th house, yeah? It is your season. Happy birthday, Aries. We would be doing the new moon in Aries in 2 weeks. And yeah, you start the new zodiacal cycle. You start the new year for all of us. You herald the change of seasons, the change of cycles. So that's very cool. The sun is now in your sign. The sun during this full moon is at 8 degrees of Aries, conjunct Chiron, the healer, and Venus, the goddess of love, the loving mother. You might find it useful to go watch introduction if you haven't done so, because we were talking shortly about the archetypes of Venus and of Chiron and how they will affect it. But in general, Venus is the kind of divine mother. She's the feminine, this divine feminine and love, you know. And Chiron is the healer, so it is about healing yourself emotionally. Sun is the ego, so in case you'd like to heal yourself, your ego, and to heal your love life, this must be a good way for it, because moon again, the full moon, it's about the heightened emotions, you know. What you got 10 of Wands. You got the Wheel of Fortune, same as Pisces. Pisces also got the Wheel of Fortune, King of Cups. So we start with the 10 of Wands, yeah. So in general, this full moon is about the completion for absolutely all of us. And many signs already were getting 10s and 9s. And why is it so? Because it's the full moon, it's always the time of release, and the last full moon before we start the new moon in Aries, the beginning of the new zodiacal year, you know, that's the kind of our chance to look back and to release what we no longer need before we start new life, new beginning, you know. 10 of Wands, yeah, 10, it's the very last degree. Wands is a suit of fire, yeah, so it is your sign, it is Sagittarius, Aries, or who else is the fire sign? Sag, Aries, and I don't remember, to be honest. Leo, yeah. So it is the completion of the fiery cycle. It is very much about you. 10 of Wands also speak about responsibility, having lots on your shoulders. Here you can see there is the figure of a woman, and she holds the whole city on her shoulders, you know. It is about helping others. It is in a way about being this cultural hero, like Prometheus, who brought, you know, the fire of gods to people, who taught people how to make fire, how to cook on fire, you know. It is this kind of idea of the cultural hero who takes the salvation of the multitude upon himself, you know. It's a very sacrificial card. So it is just a gentle reminder, in case you're piled with work or whatever you are, with ideas, know how to delegate, know how to clear up a bit of space for yourself, because you need to clear up space. This moon also has the great trine between the planets in air signs, so it's moon in Libra, Saturn in Aquarius, and Mars, your planet, in Gemini. So this will be like storm, you know, like this whirlpool, like tornado that would come and would destroy everything, you know. So you need space for the wind to do its clearing work, you know. so don't forget about it. And then the King of Cups, he's the king of emotions. Cups is the suit of emotions. King of Cups is very mature in his emotions, and he has very very pure emotions. So for you, definitely with Venus and Chiron conjunct the Sun on the day of the full moon, it is a wonderful opportunity to basically really take the healing, the emotional healing, the healing of your love life seriously, you know. And to, when Venus is traveling through the zodiac and it's sojourns in certain zodiacs, it is always an invitation for us to tap into the Venus energy, to kind of learn more from Venus, learn the ways of love, try the heart-centered approach. And that's what the King of Cups is. Here he's like Neptune, he's the king of the underwater, you know, realm. But in general, he is Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer. So he might mean a person in your life, if you know who I'm talking about, with whom maybe you need to reconnect, to reconcile. But if not, he's just this spirit of artistic kind of attitude and imagination and playfulness and emotional way of learning the world and life and your place in it. So instead of running for what you want to get, try be more like King of Cups. So emotional, pure, healed, deeply peaceful inside, like, you know, like the deep waters. And then you got the Wheel of Fortune, same as Pisces did. The wheel is turning, the new cycle is starting. It's very interesting that both you and Pisces got it, because Pisces are a collective 12th house and you are a collective first house. So the demarcation line for the change of the cycle is between Pisces and Aries, and you both got the wheel. And what the wheel is doing, the wheel is rotating. And if you were on the bottom through the turn of the wheel, you can be on the top. That's the whole idea. And you know that's why we say cycle. Yes, cycle, it's a circle, it's a cyclical nature. Everything is drawn in the circle shape, and the wheel is kind of the archetype of a circle as well. So that's very interesting that both of you got this. Wheel of Fortune, it's the card of Jupiter. It's considered to be a lucky card. It symbolizes the change, the new turn of the wheel, the new turn of the planet, the new turn. The zodiac, it's also the wheel, yeah? You know, the zodiacs are written in a wheel. The wheel has turned. There's no looking back. It's only ahead from now on. And I hope this would serve as a nice reminder for you, Aries, to basically keep moving, you know, keep moving, but in a completely new status, so to speak, you know, because it's such a lucky conjunction of Venus and Chiron and Sun, you know. Sun brings warmth and Venus brings motherly love, and Chiron, he's the healer who heals wounds. He anoints them with balms and soothing words, you know. So it is definitely time for you to heal, in order that you can discover this King of Cups within you and open up to this new cycle which is coming our way, and the spring and or autumn. So definitely we are in this change of seasons period, and the wheel is turning. The next one is Taurus. For you, the moon is happening in your sixth house, of health habits, of routine, of everyday life, of everyday responsibilities, of your daily work, of your relationship with your colleagues, and so on. So it's the Virgo house. Oh, how interesting. Cool. So you got Death and Page of Cups and Ten of Wands, same as Aries. So yeah, so I'd like to begin maybe with Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands means lots of responsibility. I will repeat. So here you would see there is a woman. She's holding the whole city on her shoulders. So in your house of work, you Taurus, you are a busy bee, you know, you have very high work ethic. And in general, as an earth sign, you're very much about this practicality and practical approach. You are very much about monetizing your gifts, about being very responsible towards the work you're doing, about pretty much being very stubborn, not really knowing even how to delegate. This card is about learn how to delegate. And I didn't say it for Aries because it just crossed my mind that the full moon is happening in the house of Libra. And Libra is balance, yeah? Libra is the others. So what does it mean? You can't put everything you have in one bowl. Your scales would break. You need to put equal amount, you know, to balance them. That's how you bring balance. So in case you're piled with work, with responsibilities, with problems, know how to share. Know how to delegate. Take it easy. Don't be that stubborn. Give part of the job to someone else, to your colleagues or something. If that's about the problems, I don't know, share them with your friends, for example. And such a pretty card. And basically try to achieve this balance. This is so much like, you know, especially in the sixth house things, this parallel which is highlighted. Aries, me, the sun, and Libra, the moon, the others, the partnerships, the other people around me, you know. So try to reach the balance between themselves. It shouldn't be only you all the time, carrying the city on your shoulders, carrying the 10 of wands, 10 like, you know, trunks on the trees on your shoulder while climbing the mountain because you're a bull, you can do it, you're the strong animal who can get any weight. No, there is no need to do it. We have this full moon during the time of the great trine between Saturn, Mars and Moon in air signs. So air signs are about air. It's about alleviating. So you need to know how to delegate. And for you, it is also an important part of how you're going to do it is that Page of Cups is here for you. Page is youthful energy. Page is about new beginnings, and Cups is about emotions. So you definitely need to change something, especially with the Death card. So you kind of got them both. Death is getting rid of something. Death, yeah, death means death, yeah. Here it is the phoenix bird, which means the rebirth. So you might try out something completely new in order, but with the order to bring balance into your life, to get rid of this 10 of wands heavy energy. You might try the new diet, the new work routine. You might try to be more aware, more conscious about the health of your relationship with people. All things sixth house. You might want to, I don't know, enroll in some internship at your work to learn something new, to change, like, you know, to shift a bit, because your old routine needs to be changed. That's it. And with this, you get the Page of Cups and the new beginnings emotionally. Because the moment you shift your everyday life, you bring the element of renewal of this death and rebirth into your sixth house matters. You would feel like a Page of Cups, hopefully, yeah? So that's the balance between 10 of Wands, who is very, very responsible and busy, and Page of Cups, who is pretty and loving and very emotional and more about yourself and your soul, your desires, your feelings, than about your duty, everyday duty to the community, you know. So Death card though means a very radical change. So in case you have always been wanting to change something, to make, again, Libra, more balanced contribution into your sixth house matters, yeah, which are like service to the others and daily routine and health habits and what you eat and so on, then this might be a good advice to to implement those changes big time. Next one is Gemini, yeah? Gemini, for you, Libra is your 4th house. No, 5th house. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's your 5th house. 5th house of romance and all those things, yeah. Of romance and creative expression. Gemini, you have now Mars. Mars is trining Saturn in Aquarius, and Saturn is trining Moon in Libra. So there is the so-called grand trine between the 3 air signs. You're riding the top of the wave. Very powerful full moon, very powerful full moon for the air signs specifically. And Mars is in your sign, North Node is in your sign, so they are very energetic and energizing. And the 5th house is of course about love and children, but also about creative expression, you know. Oh, you got 3 major arcana, unreal. You got Temperance, you got the Empress, and you got Death. I don't know what to say. So first of all, it's very nice to get Empress in your house of love and romance, because Empress, she is the lover, she is Aphrodite, she is Venus. Venus, the planet, is now in Aries, so it is in your 11th house, yeah, again in the house of networks and other people, so you can shine, you can truly go and shine brightly, you know. So in relation to the full moon, to be honest, because it is opposing Venus and healing Chiron, I think that you get this projection of the supportive energy of Venus for your love life. It's nice. And moon is emotions. So to be honest, Gemini, you might get some, how to say, the renewal of your love life. Maybe you would feel more lovable or more loving. Maybe you would find some emotional features within you that you didn't know you have. A certain cuteness, you know, a certain beauty which you didn't know about. Maybe you would surprise yourself, and you would also make yourself love yourself better. Your kids might show you more love, or your partner, you know. Or in the creative expression, you would feel like an empress, you know. You don't need to be a woman. If you're a man, you can still be an empress, you know. You can still be kind of like, you see what I'm talking about. It is this energy of like, you know, of fertility, by the way. Yes, the empress also means fertility, and especially in the house of children, this might mean conception, because the Empress is the Great Mother, but it is also the house of creation. So you might feel very creative, conceive beautiful ideas, like, you know, and bring them into this world, because our creations, those are also our children, and we are all creators, and we are all mothers, even if we don't have children. We are all mothers, because we still bring something new into this world by mere fact of our existence. And so it is this very heightened mood, you know, for you, which is beautiful. But all air signs are just bang 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 because of the great trine, you know. And the Mars is very energizing, so Mars might also give you those fire in your brain to give you more creative activity. Mars is also, like, you know, it's the planet. Mars is the kind of partner of Venus, yeah, so it is again about the dynamic of the sexual romantic relationship and so on. Something might well end or be reborn in those matters, you know, but I need to say that this full moon, as the last full moon of the zodiacal cycle before we hit the new moon in Aries, which is the beginning of the new cycle, the beginning of the new astronomical year, you know. The topics of release, especially for the full moon is the phase before waning. So when we need to give away, like, you know, things that we don't need, we kind of reach our peak, and then we slowly release this. something needs to be released. Pretty much all signs got the advice to release something. You know better yourself what needs to be released. The only advice of the death card is that after the death there is always the rebirth. And if you need to release something, you don't need to be afraid. If you need to release certain relationship, for example, because it's happening in the 5th house, this might well be the case. You release this relationship and then you feel like an empress because you're much more aligned with your own truth, you know, with your nature, with your divine feminine. Again, irrelevant if you're a man or a woman. And so you need to welcome this, because after the death, interestingly enough, you got the Temperance card. Temperance card is the card of alchemy, you know, the card of Sagittarius. So here you see she's holding this yin and yang made of water and fire, blending the unblendable, creating the third substance from the two given substances. It's the card of transformation, of metamorphosis, of it is kind of, but yes, of course. Death is card number 13, Temperance is card number 14. This is the next step. Something dies out, and then from the scattered matter, from the scattered 8 atoms, molecules and particles, something new starts taking shape. It's magic, it's pure magic, it's alchemy, you know, it is. And again, the card of alchemy in your house of creativity and self-expression. What a beautiful sign to just, like, you know, to give you the opportunity to create, to bring your art into this world, to bring what you know, what you can do into this world, and to give birth to something new. That's just a very beautiful message, to be honest. Very powerful, with 3 arcana, major arcana out of 3. That's pretty much surreal. Next one is Cancer. Cancer, for you, the full moon in Libra, it is your 4th house. 4th house is the Cancerian house, it's the house of home, of family, of the legacy you're carrying from your parents. It is the house of your siblings and of home, of how, what you perceive as home, what you want your home to be. So, Cancer. You know, Cancer, I think that it's super weird that in the house of home, you got 3 court cards. You got Knight of Pentacles, you got Queen of Cups, and you got Knight of Swords. And because they're court cards, they all mean people, first and foremost. So Knight of Pentacles can be a person which is Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Can be a man or a woman, usually kind of middle-aged. Queen of Cups can be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Can be well yourself. Again, can be a man or a woman. Knight of Swords is Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. So in the house of house, in the 4th house, you get quite a busy party. You have lots of people. You have lots of people representing different elements. Swords, Cups, Pentacles. And Libra is our collective 7th house. It's the house of people. It's the house of partnerships. It's the house of marriage. So lots of voices and noises in your 4th house, Cancer. The easiest way to interpret this would be that you need to balance somehow the relationship with people who are in the same household as you. You need to bring this Libra, yeah, the balance, the very healthy balance between yourself, Aries, and the others. People, again, your parents, your siblings, your family members, and so on. So this might be an overarching team, balance in the house. Otherwise, those are all very conflicting energies. So if we take them as separate energies, Knight of Swords is the very active knight. He's the knight of air. He is the messenger. He brings information, he brings words. Knight of Swords, it's always getting some unexpected piece of information, some mental insight, some word which kind of strikes you, sudden realizations, and so on. Knight of Pentacles is the most passive. So Knight of Swords is the most active knight. Knight of Pentacles is the most passive knight. He's very material. He's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. He wants to sit, like, you know, to sit, ponder. He's not quick at all. He's not moving anywhere, in fact, like, you know. He wants tangible results. He wants money. He wants, like, you know, achieve something material. And then the Queen of Cups, she's the water queen. She's loving, she's mystical, like, you know, she's very emotional. She's mystic, I said already, like she's intuitive and so on. She has a heart-centered approach and so on. So how do you marry those principles? Hence the full moon in Libra, like, you know, in case you are trying to achieve balance in your house or within yourself. Because our body, as Apostle Saint Paul was saying, our body is a temple. Our body, that's the house of our soul. So if we take the house, the home of the fourth house in this way, you need to try and find the balance between three of those conflicting principles, between the heart, the intellect, the conflict of heart and mind as old as the earth, and the pentacles, the fact that we have human bodies and the fact that we need to survive in this material world, and we need to feed ourselves, and we need to earn money. So this moon, as I keep saying, is supported because Chiron, the healer, and Venus, the loving mother, are conjunct the sun at 8 degrees Aries, opposing the full moon in Libra. So it's a great opportunity to heal some matters of the house, of the fourth house, to forgive your parents, your siblings, to work with the legacy you're getting from your parents, to work through the trauma you inherited from your parents, from your ancestors, from whatever, like, you know, all those things. And in general, to bring those four conflicting elements into a synchrony, into synchronicity, into harmony, into a certain union, you know. That sounds very interesting. Cancer, for me, it sounds like some sort of a, Jesus, everything keeps falling. It sounds like an interesting puzzle to try to achieve, you know. And definitely talk to people, connect with people. Libra, it's air sign. Air is about talking, communication. You solve problems through communicating, especially when it is your family, you know. Next one is Leo. Leo, for you, it is your third house. Yeah, Libra is your third house of truth, words, communication, and blogging, advertisement, all things that include words. Oh, beautiful. Again, two major arcana, one minor. You got the Lovers, you got the Sun. The Sun is the Leo card, yeah? It's Leo, that's your planet. And the Five of Swords. The Lovers in Tarot, it's Gemini. And during this full moon, there is also the great trine between the air signs. So it is Saturn, Mars. Mars is in Gemini, Saturn is in Aquarius, and Moon is in Libra, and they are trining each other. So Moon makes part of this great trine, which is considered to be very supportive. And the planets we're talking about, they're all in air signs. And air signs, it is about words and communication. And the third house is a very air sign because it's a Gemini sign, yeah? So, and Lovers, actually, Lovers, it is also about balance, because there are two elements which need to coexist together. The couple, that's how the couple works, you know. And the Lovers, it's not only about the love. It is about harmony as the overarching principle of the creation of this world. It is this kind of yin and yang principle, this kind of divine harmony which lies in the base, the foundation of the whole universe and our life on it, you know. So so to be honest, this is such a good sign to try to find, like, you know, your own peace with words, with the truth, with communication, with how you interact with words, how, whether you know or not, how to bring your point of view to the others, how to sorry, how to bring your thoughts and your words into balance, how to arrange them, how to bring them in the kind of divine geometrical shape of the overarching harmony, you know. It is a very harmonizing card, yeah, about marrying contradictive principles, and kind of softening the conflicts, especially verbal conflicts, you know, and especially because you got Five of Swords. The Five of Swords, it's about verbal conflict, because 5 means a challenge, and sword, it's this huge of air and communication and words, right? So for you, Five of Swords might bring certain discomfort. This moon might well bring you challenge, not necessarily the challenge, the new one, but maybe the challenge which you are pondering already for quite a while, you know. And this might be the challenge related to the 3rd house matters, of your own truth, of how you speak your truth, of who you truly are, and how you give this message to the world of who you truly are. And here it is just an invitation through the Lover's card to bring into harmony this message to the world of who you want, how you want to be perceived, what is the information you're going to share, what are the communicative principles you're using, all those things. And then the sun. The sun is supportive. The sun is your planet, and the sun is now with healing Chiron and with the Venus in Aries. So the sun is being healed, technically speaking, and loved by Venus. And you can use this energy. You can use this energy to love yourself better, to heal yourself, and through this to reach the point in which things will become very clear for you as to how you should be, what is the message you need to bring into this world, what is this, how you need to build interaction with the others, how this big peace might be achieved, this balance that Libra is representing. Leo, that's a beautiful message. You are challenged a little bit. You're a little bit challenged, but nonetheless, you get the sun. And the sun, to be honest, it is again about the cycles, because metaphorically, mythologically speaking, the sun dies every night and is reborn every morning, you know. So it is again about the cycle of life and death, of life and rebirth. So very beautiful. Very beautiful. I hope you will get a chance to celebrate the spring or the coming of astronomical spring or autumn, depending on where you are, with this feeling of lovers, you know, and lovers is the divine harmony. And last but not least, Virgo. Virgo, your 2nd house. Yeah, your 2nd house of, boy, what you call it? Your 2nd house of self-value and finances. And that's beautiful, to be honest, having the balancing full moon. Oh, I knew. Cool. 2 of Pentacles, the card of balance, straight away. 10 of Cups and King of Cups. Very emotional moon for you, Virgo. 2 of Pentacles, you see, it shows the person who is juggling. He has 2 pentacles and he tries to balance both of them. That's very much Libra. In general, all 2s, they are associated with balance. They're associated with Libra, like for example, Two of Swords is the moon in Libra. Two of Pentacles is also very Libra in nature, and it is about balancing different elements in your life. Primarily time management, life and personal life and work balance, you know, service to the others and me balance, you know, that's very important. Again, so to be honest, that's like such a card which I think is very dear to Virgo's heart, because it is about planning, it is about coming up with the solution of how you can better balance different parts of your life in order to make it more harmonious, because Libra wants to make everything harmonious, and in general this moon is very charged and very harmonious in general. And then Virgo, you get the Ten of Cups, and Ten of Cups, it can be the end, actually for second house you got so much, two emotional cards. Yeah, you got the Ten of Cups and the King of Cups, and both of them are speaking about the very heightened emotions, because King is the last court card and 10 is the last card of the suit, from 2 to 10. Yeah, so to speak, you go from 2 of Pentacles to 10 of Cups in one step, from 2 to 10. You're a good student, Virgo. You complete tasks very, very quickly. But having achieved this balance of, in a more material way, in how you manage your everyday life and how you manage your finances and how you manage doing work through staying truthful to yourself, you now clear up some space to get also the emotional closure. Ten of Cups, it's actually a blissful card. It is a card of the heightened emotions, of very good relationships, very solid. It's a card of like eternal love, happy family, you know, all those things. As you can see here, there is a couple, you know, with those beautiful little fishes. And it is this kind of Nine of Cups in tarot. It's fulfillment of wishes. So 10 of Cups is kind of the next step when you can actually enjoy everything you have. And I guess for Virgos, just so important, just seriously balance things so that there is equal part of fun and work. And the time management allows you to have the me time, the emotional time. And then I think you can get satisfaction, you know, from your everyday life. You can get this kind of the bright light. The full moon in Libra is shining brightly upon you here. There is like the full moon as well, visible through the waters, you know. And it is this cleared space to finally feel who you are, coming deeply into who you are. And that's who King of Cups is. King of Cups is very creative, artistic. He is the king of emotions, but because he's the king, he's very mature. He knows how to manage his emotions. He knows how to express his emotions. So, and he knows how to be emotional on everyday basis and combine it with being a king, so with being a successful manager and ruler of the land, you know. And this is the balance, I think, Virgo, for you. The balance between what's not only working and being responsible and being Virgo, but also having some time to actually simply enjoy yourself and building very strong, harmonious, balanced relationship with yourself. That's it. Oh boy, I'm tired, sorry guys. This is it for today. We have gone through all the 12 signs of the zodiac. As a final remarks, I think most of signs got 2 or even 3 major arcana, and this might also only mean that this moon is very powerful. It is very, very, very potent. There are lots of astronomical transits happening in the sky, so it is something to look forward to and to celebrate, to get to kind of release this old zodiacal cycle and welcome the new life and the new zodiac cycle with the new moon in Aries in 2 weeks time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for staying with me. Have a good moon and talk to you soon. Bye.